can see smoke.
Right, good afternoon.
Well, we'll see who's in and who's not.
Fair enough.
Oh my.
Stephen Bankier.
Yeah.
Mark the Hibby, Desiree Brinker, Alistair Kerr, Stuart Crockett, Robert Bruce, Jags Man. Ackies, have you put a new name up? Tina Chalmers up there in Dundee, Alistair Kerr, June Dalrymple, Chris Fisher, Pete's Music, Wee Bird, Robert Bruce, June Dalrymple, Kirsty Folds, I dare say Kirsty Hamilton's kicking about there somewhere as well, Laurie Hay, Rosie, I think that's all we'll go at the moment. Could be wrong. Too many names moving so fast. Hi, Ewan. Just in. Austin before Indy. Hi, Austin. Hi, Dean. How are you, son? Hi, Diane. Hi, Davey. I see you've popped in as well. Okay.
Just
give me a few more
I'll just go. Hi, guys.
Point basis, try to read the names. We're just going to talk about each other. Well, I suppose we better get started.
There's Ginger Giraffes, our American correspondent.
Yep, hi Gingers.
Good morning, she says.
Good morning, Gingers. I think it'll be hard the other now. Well, I hear the shutdowns come to an end, so there you go. Right, let's go with First Minister's David. First up today, Tory cuckoo in the nest, Russell Finlay, and he went on grooming gangs. He brought up a specific case of a young lady who he knew had written to the First Minister to talk about her experience. Hi, Kirsty. Thank you.
Thanks, Kirsty.
He brought up the case of a young lady, Taylor, I think her name was, who had written to the First Minister to explain her experience at the hands of, to quote Russell Finlay here, I don't know why this was important, but at the hands of 10, and then you interject the race, and then men. What the race has got to do with it, I've no fucking idea. But to put it, I'll tell you what it said, 10 Pakistani men.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, how did they know they were Pakistani men? Could they not be just 10 Asian men? Maybe they're not Pakistani, maybe they're from somewhere else. Do they have to be Pakistani?
I don't see where the race comes into it, but we know the odd percent of sex offenders.
That's in fact the biggest gangs of paedophiles and grooming gangs, I would imagine, come from the white population.
They do.
So there you are. It's like, I don't know what this Neil Finlay's up to. Is it he's just trying to create another narrative that somebody with slightly darker skin than mine is a bad person?
It's racism.
Yeah.
But we'll get to John's response.
Alexa, landing light on.
Jagsman.
Oh, yeah, that's lovely. He's getting as a compensation to go up for Avanti for his train being late. Thank you very much, Jagsman.
Thank you very much.
Aye, so John's answer to him was that he wasn't opposed to an inquiry if it's necessary. They're looking at past and current cases of the Police Scotland's grooming gang special unit.
Yeah.
Because they were at Kerry in the 80s and the islands, where they took people's kids away and all that, Police Scotland created a specific grooming gang special unit. So that's why we've never needed an inquiry. Yeah. But John says what we're doing is we're reviewing all the cases that they've covered, and if we think there needs to be an inquiry, we're not against it.
Fair enough. Okay.
Next up, of course.
Yeah, again, if you were First Minister and somebody came to you with that information, right? Of course you would say, well, if there's any real weight to it, then let's have an inquiry. Fine.
As I say, the thing with Russell Finlay and that is it's this Nigel Farage crap about You know, it's all Asians that are doing these things. It's all immigrants that are doing these things, which
Well,
we know is true.
Watch any of the programs such as Question Time or whatever. Anytime you get a reform member in there, their job seems to be creating a narrative of somebody with darker skin than mine is a bad person.
Yes. Well, Russell Findlay's tried to pull it off in the Scottish Parliament, and John Swinney just absolutely ignored it. The reference to the race thing, he just ignored it. Anyway, next up was Anna Sarwar, and he was ambulance chasing as usual, NHS bad, and he tells us that NHS Scotland is in perpetual crisis. Constant crisis.
There you go.
And anyway, John wasn't having it, so he quotes the figures of where the NHS performances have improved. Yeah. And then switches all together to talk about the bloodbath at number 10. But
it was actually quite a nice rant this morning.
Aye.
You did that. When the Herald put up that, and you said, what the hell's it going to be this time? Is the police are in meltdown? The NHS are going to dogs? You know, ridiculous. It really is, honestly.
That most certainly
These people are looking at any excuse they've got of making our services look like shite.
For us, he's only got one.
I know
that's enough. You give us £60 through the stream.
No, that's an old song about Hitler, isn't it? Hitler is only
aye, one. But David, and I just want to thank Andy. He's not just given us that wee super chat there. He sent us £60 to the bank account through the Screen Cleaner program. Yeah. That's the one I've been doing shorts for.
Yeah.
So thank you, Andy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Very generous of you, especially as you're not here in Scotland and we don't spend the money in Northern Ireland. We might have to fucking expand operations here, David.
Yes. Well, if that's the case, that's the case. You know,
we might have to go international with the Two Davies YouTube channel.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
What do you think, community?
International now. We've been told by YouTube that we cover 112 countries, or the last time that they wrote to us on it, right? So.
Well, a lot of them tune in for a while. A lot of them tune in by mistake once and then don't come back, David. Anyway, Sarwar's just berated. Sarwar he just lost the plot. You can see it's out of him. You know, when he was asked by the Rags this morning about the situation at number 10, he wouldn't backstab him. But Sarwar's got enough problems because the knives are out for him here as well.
Well, you know, as I was saying to you earlier on, it's like there's a rather good video that's kicking around on the not the Twitter sphere, on the Facebook sphere, right? And it's where the interviewer says, "What would you do if we lost £1 billion of the Scottish budget?" And Anna Sarwar put 2 and 2 together, made 5. And he said, we're not here to discuss the UK budget. And the guy says, I didn't ask that. What would you do if Scotland lost £1 billion of its budget? And yet again, it came out, one trick pony came out with exactly the same answer. We're not here to discuss.
You know, that's the stunt he pulled when he was asked about Grangemouth. Private business, can't do nothing. Private business. Prior to election, he was going to save it.
Yeah.
You know, so apparently, folks, our public services are in constant fucking crisis. And knackered SNP are able to fix them. The funny thing about that is, and I think John went down the wrong route there, waiting lists in NHS England have went up for the last 4 months because they've reached capacity in the private sector, which was never there. NHS Wales, which is Labour controlled, is the worst performing NHS on these islands.
Mm-hmm.
And here we've got Sarwar trying to tell us he's the answer to the problems here in Scotland.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of economic fucking illiterates running the UK economy for the Treasury and the Bank of England. Honesty, Christ, David. I mean, I know I went on a rant about it this morning, but it's starting to get really tiring.
It was a good rant. it was a good rant. It was good, well worthwhile. You really get you could see you getting in your teeth into it, and you were going at it. Oh, lovely, lovely.
I was champing at the bits to go to that there on Labour's fucking track record on these islands. We've got a cheek to have a go at ours. I mean, that's what makes Sarwar a joke. He stands up in First Ministers week in, week out to berate and to tell us how bad our services are. And then we take a wee peek over the border and go, oh, for fuck's sake. Who's in charge? Labour. We take a wee look into Wales and we go, oh, Jesus, fuck. Who's in charge? Labour. I mean, if you want, and keep bringing personal cases up in that fucking parliament, I'm going to bring a personal case up right now. I'll tell you how bad things are in England, folks. I put him in a car in Bristol and drove him to fucking Glasgow to get medical attention. It was quicker to get to Glasgow than what it was to get seen in that fucking hospital.
He's responsible for the two Davies, because if he hadn't done that, there'd only been one Davy.
Wouldn't go that far, but that's exactly what I did. Put you in the car and brought you up the road after I'd seen the local hospital. I went, oh, fuck that. I mean, smoking's been banned in England for years. There was a plant pot there with fucking a decade-old fag end in it. Oh, I don't know. No to mention the deed plant, of course. And that's what I mean. This Sarwar's getting tiring, so he is. You know, he is getting tiring. And by the way, next up for First Ministers, the stuff shot Cole Hamilton blunders onto the scene and makes an absolute arse of himself. He demands to know why the Scottish Government hasn't met his commitment in the last manifesto, meaning the one we're operating under now, to bring down class sizes. And John tells him, we're working at cooperation with the local authorities, and most of the local authorities are under control of who? Fucking Labour and Tory. We know the money's ring-fenced for the education sector. The councils won't take it.
This is the thing that people don't seem to get, is the fact that SNP might win the election to form, if you like, the administration.
But the fight doesn't stop there.
Council. But what happens is Labour and Tory get together and they go, oh, you've got that many and we've got that many. Why don't we put together a block and then we can outvote the SNP and take over the council, and that's what happens.
Yes, and more importantly, the money's been ring-fenced. The councils are refusing to take it because it would mean they need to hire more teachers and they need to cut fucking pupil sizes. They need bigger schools. There's a lot of knock-ons involved. Yeah. Extra classrooms just don't miraculously appear.
Well, they do if you're a Labour or Tory councillor, or a Labour or Tory MSP. That's what the whole thing's about. They go, oh yeah, you can. Of course you can.
And the whole logjam in the fucking system's causal.
There's a store cupboard there where you keep pencils. Get the pencils out, and we'll put kids in there. That becomes a small classroom. Oh, what about teacher? Oh, well, we'll just give them books they can read. Oh dear.
Hey. You know, it's mental. You know, we all know this money, 600 million quid was ring-fenced for this particular purpose, and the councils won't take the fucking money to guarantee staff numbers. Yeah. You know, it's just mad.
Because the Labour or Tory or Labour Tory administrations. That's it.
So the stuff shot get his arse handed to him. Because really, the stuff shot already knew when he asked his question that the logjam is at COSLA and at council level. They already know the money was ring fenced and the councils can reach out for it as long as they agree to keep teacher numbers where they are. The amount of kids going to schools falling anyway just because of the rate of the birth figures, birth rates down. So just keep numbers constant, we'll see class sizes shrink.
To be honest with you, knowing what you do and knowing what I do, you wonder why people would bother to vote for anything other than SNP when it comes to local elections.
It's just an example of cuckoos in the nest. You know, their job's to stand there and say Scotland's shite. They forget they're in that parliament to collaborate to make things better. And they were, until we George folks pointed it out. Then all of a sudden the brakes went on. Hold on, we are working too collaboratively. We are in the country next door. And then Alec comes along, wins his minority, and rewrites the civil contract between the Scottish people and the Scottish government. Really clever stuff. And yet most people don't understand what's in that civil contract. And the guarantees in that civil contract, like social care and things like that. I know we're struggling to get it to fulfil the brief, but we don't just fight elections. We then have to fight against the local authorities. We've got to fight the press. We've got to fight a Westminster government. And
well, at the moment, my biggest worry is losing any of those things from that social contract over the time, because we don't have money. Get independence, and we definitely do have enough money.
Right, I guess we better move on to First Ministers. Scottish Government aiming to release or issue first bonds in 2026, 2027.
Bad idea.
The idea is to raise 2 billion.
Yeah, bad idea.
2 billion, sorry. Be a B.
Westminster and the Bank of England will bend over backwards to create circumstances whereby these are junk bonds at the moment. Until we've got independence, not going to happen for us. They'll have some kind of value, but they won't have the value they should have.
I don't see the point at this point in time, because when we look at the rating agencies and what they're going to award us as a rating because we're still in the union opposed to what we would be out the union, we're not that far away from junk status anyway. We're double A.
Yeah.
Now, at the last referendum, they tell us that we would get a triple A plus, which is excellent because they were vast natural resources.
Incidentally, what are England?
The UK-wide credit rating at this point in time is double A.
So Scotland's got triple A.
If we were independent, it'd be triple A plus.
Triple A plus, yeah. And the UK has got double A.
Double A. By the way, the UK in the last 30 years went from triple A plus for a short period of time down to double A plus, down to double A.
Yeah, I thought there was a B involved at some point.
No.
You sure?
No, right after once you move out of the single A category, then you make it into junk category. Yeah. Now, how it works is excellent, a triple A.
Yeah.
Better than excellent, triple A first. Double A plus. They're based to say your economy's stable, just not doing well. You're in no risk of collapse. You're not in any risk of not being able to pay your debts.
Who's that chap at the door? Oh, it's IMF. All right, fine, okay.
Right, so that's how the ratings work. Then you do single A plus, single A, and then junk status.
Yeah.
At that point, your economy's faked.
Yeah.
So in the last 30 years, the UK, for a very short period of time, around about the mid-80s, was up there with triple A.
From what I see, from reading what there is of the English economy, is that it's fucked.
Aye, it is.
Already. And it's like, it's relying heavily on the other, especially Scotland, the other devolved nations of the United Kingdom.
We'll get to that a wee bit later on, David, but you're absolutely correct. We'll get to that a wee bit later on. Right, after the government's announcement that they're planning on issuing bonds, which you and I don't think is a good idea at this point in time, especially with that credit rating, interest rates will be really high on the bonds.
Yeah.
But as you say, the Bank of England and Westminster would do whatever they can to junk the bonds.
Can you imagine the shot in the arm it would be? Scotland declares its independence. We're talking about Independence Day, which is not the day that we actually vote for it, right? But we talk about the actual proper Independence Day. And also, we are issuing the following bonds. Those bonds would come in at a proper rate. Yeah.
Rachel, dear, it's not a new hat you need, it's a fucking tin hat you need.
What are you talked about this the other day there, David. Please don't put up any messages.
You'd finish speaking, David, and you'd finish speaking, and audience interaction is important.
I know, audience. You just wait until I'm finished my point. It wasn't a long point.
No, but you had finished speaking.
Right. Okay.
But you're right. I shouldn't do that.
Yes. Please don't.
I wasn't. I waited till you finished speaking.
I would.
And Rachel, as I say, your hat's lovely, dear.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on. Police Chief tells Public Petitions Committee that Police Scotland will record sexual crimes by gender, male or female, mainly male, of course, when it comes to the case of rape, for sexual crime. Now, what was Joe, the police chief, Joe Farrell, doing in the Public Petitions Committee, David?
At the end of the day, it's like to cut a very, very, very long and very arduous story short. What's going to happen is that if somebody is raping somebody who has gone through a transition to a female, so has raped a female, and that person was called Joe McGlumfer back when he was born, and then turned to Josephine McGlumfer after the fact, he would be recorded as Joe McGlumfer in that situation.
Right, folks, to tell you this is good, this about just back in 2021 when the new gender recognition bill was going through and before it was clobbered by the Section 35 order. Three ladies called Kath Murray, Lucy Hunter Blackburn, and Lisa Mackenzie set up a think tank and then used the public petition system to ask if Police Scotland had any gender fluidity and how it recorded sexual offences. So Police Chief Joe Farrell was called in front of the Petitions Committee to explain how Police Scotland handle these things. And it turns out that the petition to ensure there was no gender fluidity in how police record sex crimes was unfounded because there is no fluidity in how they record sex crimes. What Joe Farrell told them was that Police Scotland will record the gender at the time of the person as they were born, as by the Supreme Court ruling, and they have done all along. But because they're a decent serving police force, even though they're recording that person and the gender they were born, they will allow that person to identify and they will refer to them how they wish to be identified. Yeah, just common courtesy.
Yeah, it's the recording of it that's important, because if you imagine, the police haven't got the time to get involved in an argument over I identify as a wardrobe. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like, it just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So police have got a very, very practical situation, and they go, right, fine. You, Josephine McGlumfer, what were you when you were born? Joe McGlumfer, right? Joseph McGlumfer, right? Okay, that's how we're going to record it. We're going to call you Josephine from now on.
That's how they deal with it.
Yeah,
that's how Police Scotland deal with it.
That's fine.
They record sex as at birth because it's on record.
Yeah.
And then they refer to the people how the people wish to be referred, and they deal with them courteously.
Does this count for other crimes as well? I mean, okay,
that was
in that situation, rape, but does it count for like fraud? Does it count for?
That was the other thing, to stop these women coming back and try to draw Police Scotland into some other political arena. Joe Farrell also goes on to say, we're looking at putting down sex for all crimes in future.
Yeah, fine. Okay, that's cool.
Because basically what this think tank tried to do was drag the police into gender wars.
Well, if you imagine, I can imagine a situation whereby if the same was done down in London regarding the Met police force, the Met police force would go, bugger off, we're not even going to send the chief constable to you. at least Scotland had the decency to go to these women, right, fine, we're going to give you the Chief Constable of Scotland so that they can answer it properly.
Well, anyway, it was a PR that the petitions committee is working.
Yeah.
And in this case, the petitions team recommended that the police came in front of the petitions committee and they brought in the think tank and sat them down to let the police explain where they were. The police recognised that they were trying to be, that these people were trying to draw them into a political row. And Joe Farrell's very cleverly navigated around them.
A decent question to ask of anybody that's involved in this: how many people who have become fluid in their gender, in other words, if they're a man, someday a woman, how many of these people have committed a sexual crime?
Very few.
We're talking a few hundred, we're talking a few thousand.
Talk about less than that, David.
Right. Okay.
Now let's try maybe 1, 2, 85.
So therefore, it's not a massive issue.
No, as I say, but they wanted to make sure police weren't being fluid in the genders they recorded on sex crimes.
I'm impressed that Police Scotland should be so caring that they come out and they answer these people.
But more importantly, as Stephen's got there, thanks, Stephen. Empathy, decency, and respect for all. That's basically what Joe Farrell was doing.
Yep.
She was explaining how the police have to deal with this by procedure, and then how they deal with it when they're dealing with the public.
And thank you, Stephen.
So the petition committee, rather than have this thing go live, decided that the petitions team recommended the petitions committee actually here's the action you need to take here. Bring the police in to explain to these people, and then they can get rid of the notion of the petition altogether, then, can't they?
I can imagine those women went out of that hall or out of that place screaming their heads, "That's not enough." But you have to understand it's
well, actually, believe it or not, they come out saying, right, that's more than satisfied us.
That's the case, good job.
So that's what I'm saying, the petitions committee network worked.
Yeah. There you go. Scotland first again. Right.
Please,
Andrew, thank you.
Visit Top Survivors Resource website, Pandy. We'll have a look at it, Andy. Don't see why not. Right, let's move on. This one's a wee bit more interesting. How did that one get up? Salvo and Liberation Scott drop law firm JPTI and a dispute over payment according to the law firm, but according to Salvo and Liberation Scott, it's a dispute about the submission that was going to be made.
Yeah, at the moment we're very much in a he said she said situation, right? The law firm, which is a Geneva law firm, have been doing work on the Saharan setup for decolonisation, and they effectively have said to Salvo and Liberate, sorry, but we don't believe that you've got the backing of the people of Scotland. How do you get the backing of the people of Scotland? Very simple. You have a referendum or you have a plebiscite election. But by the end, it's a moot point, isn't it? Because if the population go, we want independence, then we're not colonised. And we're not ever going to be colonised again. That's it. It's end of story, right? Whereas Liberate and whereas GPTI, the actual law firm, are actually saying, look, you guys haven't paid us. Liberate and Salvo are going, yeah, we did, paid you up front. So it's as he said, she said. It really is.
But I think the real reason behind it is probably the fact that they've looked at this case and went, they don't have the settled will of the Scottish people here for us to take forward.
That's right. And, it's legalese, isn't it? Really.
But that's stuff that's going to be important.
Yeah, to be honest with you, anybody looking at it for putting that across, you go, well, yeah, I mean, you look at Gaza and West Bank, they are colonised. They are, without doubt, they are colonised. They're locked in. Somebody threw away the key, right? Scotland, are we colonised? It's a bit of a question. And our legal experts say, yeah, some say, yeah, we are colonised. Other ones go, no, we're not.
No.
You know, so at the end of the day, it's like, you can imagine a law firm like GPTI must be an international law firm to actually
well respected.
level, right? So therefore, their opinion does stick, does carry some weight.
Yep.
If they say
they don't believe that these two groups have the backing of the people of Scotland to go forward with it. And
you've heard that basically what David and I have said is, if they manage to do something, if they manage to get his independence, we will stand up and cheer with the rest of them.
Yes.
But we did talk to Sarah Salyers, and we said, Sarah, it's not true that even after you've gone through all this, we're still going to require to get the ballot boxes out. And she agreed with that.
Yes.
So,
and so did Professor Mark McNaught as well, the constitutional expert. He agreed that there would need to be some sort of plebiscite as well.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, is do realise that these are emotive subjects, and a lot of people get lots of different
points of view
on it, right? But to be honest with you, you've got to look at the point of view of, if you want to settle well with the people of Scotland, you're going to have to let them vote.
Well, as I say, the other thing is people misread your and I's attitude to this. You know, it's not as if we don't approve of what these people are doing. Every iron in the fire is worthwhile going down that avenue. But I'll tell you what, Liberation Scotland, Salvo, if you're listening, you went in the wrong place. We told you that. Now take your case to the European Court of Human Rights. And claim that your right to self-determination is being blocked by another nation.
And you look at it right now. What are the Westminster Parliament trying to do at the moment? They're trying to create a narrative that ends up where people will do away with ECHR.
They're also trying to do it. I mean, they've also got a narrative at the moment for Starmer. It sounds like, because that's what we're moving on to. Where they probably intend to get rid of Holyrood as well, because Starmer tells us he's taking back his heritage.
Yeah.
When talking about Scotland.
Can I make a slight interjection? I know this is one that you agree with, right? If anybody has got a wild idea of let's bin Holyrood and have the seat of power somewhere else, right? Straight away, very simply, you've got to arrange a referendum, because we got into this through a referendum, and to get out of it, we need a referendum. End of story. The people of Scotland would have to say, shut down Holyrood. I don't think they would.
So Larry, you're more than welcome to involve Charlie and I in the Sunday cuddles. That'll be quite good. Pete's Music, thank you very much for your kind contribution to the Food Bank Fund. Thanks. You've all been very generous today. That must be a couple £100.
Today's been amazing. It's like
started off with Mr. E at £50 and then later on another 50. You know,
the Indie Truck Davy this morning. It's like I've just watched the donations coming in. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Wonderful.
It's wonderful, yeah. In fact, I even made it into one of my rants. The second £50 made it into the rant. Hey, folks, if you nip onto my Facebook, I'll maybe put it up on YouTube as well. Stephen Young, Sharon Sunshine Young's husband, he clipped a section for the Indie Truck Davy show this morning where I was off on my rant about the media here in Scotland. And and halfway through, David, who was the fella that told us that Renfrew was in trouble? What was his name again?
Well, Sure. I need to look it up again. Fraser.
Fraser gave us a donation of 50 quid this morning.
Yeah.
So, and that came up during the rant, David. So I put it up while I was ranting.
Yeah.
And then I said, one thing we're good at is raising fucking money for the community. Stop them going hungry.
I see there's an interesting little comment on here, just in what was being said. And it's from Dean saying, can we start calling the Scottish Parliament that? The Scottish Parliament. We do call it the Scottish Parliament, Dean. I know a lot of people call it the Scottish administration, but they tend to be unionists. People that do that. The person that started calling it the Scottish Parliament, believe it or not, was none other
than Alex Salmond.
Alex Salmond.
Because prior to Salmond, it was called the Scottish administration. Right, but let's get back to Starmer. Starmer says he's taking back his heritage, his control of Scotland, so that he can put nuclear power stations here.
Yes, what he's trying to do is he's trying to take away the power from our Parliament in regard to planning. Now, okay, at one time, I remember during the run-up to 2014, I forget what it was they got rid of, but the House of Lords sat for a morning and took away one of the powers from Scotland. I can't remember what power it was.
Control of energy.
That was it. That was it.
It was a few days before the referendum. It slipped into another bill that was being passed.
So it can be done.
Yes.
It can be done. But the thing is, though, it was just so much going on at the time.
Aye.
There wasn't a time to actually say, right, okay, let's attack this, right? So what I've got to say is, if they try and do such a thing again, then literally we just take to the streets, protest.
Christ, Andy, did you win the pools or something? Farage has only got one ball. The other one is in the mouth of, Andy, I can't read that stuff out. This is a I can get a laugh at it, but I can't read it out. Richard Tyson. Andy, you're going to get his ball. You're getting his ball, boy. Nigel, he's only got one.
Yeah, don't forget, it's like we've read the rules and it's like we can swear like troopers, we can sing that song and the fucking down, but we can't do that.
It's to get back to Starmer, it's the language. He's taking back his heritage.
Yeah.
So Scottish power mix is his heritage, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Scotland's power is his, is it? Scotland's energy's his, is it? Well, actually, at the moment, fucking all his. And that was up in the fucking crown, and that was up on the throne.
Small bit of information to put in, right? Just at this point, we might forget to put it in later on. Keir Starmer, basically, according to 73% of all the voting adults in the United Kingdom, is doing a bad job. And
but we'll get there in a minute, David. In fact, we'll get there right now. Good segue right into it. Bloodbath at number 10, or is there? So we're talking about the speculation we've had over the last couple of days, folks. Over the last 24 hours about coups on the hoof to remove Starmer. There's been rumours that 50 MPs are ready to walk the flare to do away with his majority, or to resign the whip to do away with his majority. And of course, there was also Starmer briefing against Wes Streeton because he thought that was a bogeyman. The truth is here, folks, none of it's real. It's on Starmer's imagination. He knows the chop's coming. He's trying to put it off as far as he can.
Also, if you look at Wes Streeton, it's like you can imagine that a lot of the Labour MPs, even though they agree in order to keep their 90 grand or whatever it is they get paid these days, will agree with Starmer, right? Do you think they would vote for Wes Streeton to come in? Basically, Wes Streeton is exactly the same as Starmer. He's a right-wing idiot, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, being a right-wing idiot, do you think these left-wing Labour MPs under the skin, that is, do you think they would vote for West Streeton to come in? In actual fact, it's more likely to be Sue Powell. Sue Powell at the moment is not on the not above the parapet at the moment, but she will be.
No bad shout. Would she be any better than Starmer? Yeah. Or would she be continuity Sue?
That's right.
But the whole point about the Starmer thing is he's seen shadows, David.
Yeah, but that happens with somebody when somebody's in that position of, oh hell, they're looking in the corners for shadows. That's what it is. And they'll do stupid things. And Starmer at the moment is doing really stupid things.
Well, I think him and Morgan McSweeney's backs are up against the wall at this point in time. Yeah. Either this budget or next year's elections are going to day for the two of them.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about that.
Yeah.
As to what comes next, as you say, the bookie's favourite at this point in time is who?
Yeah.
There's I think 5 of them, the bookies have got a backing on it. But as I say, this stuff that we're seeing the new, it could very well be.
To all my pals on here, right? Seriously, if you've got a spare £5 kicking around, get down to the bookies and put £5 on Sue Powell as being the next leader of the Labour Party, right? You're possibly on the right track.
John, you're a driving god right enough. I'll need to go and...
What the hell?
Sorry, you've not been on recently. Been very busy at work and home life. Anyhow, here's a little donation for the food banks. Plus, remember, independence and eyes and the prize. Do you know what, David? That's going to end up in both your fucking gravestones.
John,
thank you very much.
I keep on saying to Alistair M, will you adopt me? But I'm going to change it. John, will you adopt me, please?
That was very generous of you, John, and we'll make sure that the kiddies benefit from it at Christmas.
Yeah. Wow.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right. So Starmer's seeing shadows and Rachel Reeves has got big problems because the latest growth figures, as we expected, downgraded July to September's growth from 0.3% to 0.1%. Unemployment's up by 1 million people. Tax takes down. And of course, when you've got 1 million people who are no longer called unemployed, they're called jobless, claiming benefits, then you need Mary tax takes just to break even.
This thing about Rachel Reeves, right?
Aye.
I'm still of the opinion that she has been massaging expectations. And it's possible that she's not, the budget is not going to be quite as difficult, as hard as has been characterised, right?
Aye.
So, if you're gonna maybe have to take somebody's finger off because of something they did, right? Well, it's a crime lords, right? So what you do is you come out and you go, we're going to take your head off. And you go, oh bloody hell, right? And then up take your finger off. You go, oh well, that's all right then. So effectively, that's what I think Rachel Reeves is up to.
Well, that's really odd, David. We watch this fucking carry on every budget. Every chancellor, it's been like that for years.
Absolutely.
But the one thing that was unusual was this pre-budget speech. That's never happened before.
Well, yeah, again, I mean, how did you feel about that pre-budget speech? How did you feel it was coming down? I
just thought it was coming down with, listen, there's some hard choices to make. The usual stuff you hear from a chancellor a couple of weeks before a budget.
Yeah, that's managing people's expectations. It's the oldest business trick in the book.
Aye.
Right? It's if you go now and you go out and you're rich enough, you go out and buy a new kitchen for the house or a new let's start a new bed, right? Let's say you buy a new bed for the bedroom, right? And they say we're looking, it's going to be 12 weeks. It's going to be 12 weeks before you get that. That's managing the customer's expectations.
That's right. Bed shows up.
Maybe get delivered in 6 weeks.
Aye.
But if they didn't say anything, but week 3, you'd be on the phone every 5 minutes. When am I going to get that bloody bed? Yeah.
Aye. But as I say, you're right. She's managing expectations. But The economy is continuing to contract in England, contract in Wales. It's slowing down here in Scotland. And these are reflected in the unemployment figures, 5% for England and Wales and 3.7% for Scotland. Our unemployment figures actually went down in the last quarter, and they'll go down again in this quarter because we'll get the Christmas uptake of temporary work.
Yeah.
So the English economy is definitely slowing right down, and it's become a drag on the rest of us. It really has become a drag on the rest of us, and the worst suffering probably are the English regions, because it's London that's dragging the whole country down at this point in time, because it's only $1 trillion.
London, have you heard the latest on that one? Horizon, that caused the problem for all the postmasters, right? Where they were made to look like criminals. They've got their contract back. They're getting their contract renewed.
I know, I heard. You tell me.
That's dreadful. That really is bloody awful.
That is bloody awful.
That's not a good look.
No, getting rewarded for that. Getting rewarded for doing your job poorly again.
Yeah.
You know, that seems to be a fucking constant down that road.
Yeah.
Contractors getting X amount to build a railway. Comes back 3 months later and tells you it's going to cost X amount more. Comes back 3 months later, going to cost you X amount more.
See, we're on the London kick here, right? And it's not planned in the programme at all. David McGuinness, give us some details with London, what's happening at the moment, what's happened with it, and what's happening with it at the moment.
Well, you talk about the city?
Aye.
Huge contraction, they're all moving.
Right, okay.
They all want access to Europe. David, let's face it, if you and I were running a business together, right?
Yeah, but they lost their passport. They lost their passport.
So what they're doing is moving house.
Yeah, they cannot sell funding or whatever in Europe. Not allowed. Not allowed. Unless they actually move to Strasbourg or wherever, it's like not allowed. So what's happening is they're pulling it out of London left, right, and centre. What was it?
If you're London, you need to get out of London. There's 400 million people in that market out there. Yeah. There's only 68 million in this rock.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're pulling out. £1 trillion has fled the city of London, and it's still gone.
Yeah.
And as we know, the ones that are pulling out of London as a headquarter and going to Frankfurt, things like that, they're all setting up their subsidiary offices up here in Scotland now.
Yeah.
Even Barclays.
Yeah.
You know, because they've moved their headquarters to fucking Dublin.
The amount of banks that we see in Glasgow that have opened up, new branches like some of the American banks.
That's what I'm saying, is they're moving to places like Frankfurt now. They're positioning themselves in Scotland, expecting something to happen here.
But you look at the finance sector in Scotland, it's largely based around about Edinburgh. And Edinburgh has got the highest GDP per head of population in the whole of the UK. Keep that one in your back pocket, guys.
That means
that's a killer. That's a killer for any unionist that goes, oh well, Scotland is too poor to be.
Well, we're expand on what that means, David. It means at this point in time, the biggest value the biggest value of any place in on these islands at this point in time to Westminster is Edinburgh.
Yeah,
because it's the most productive part of the UK.
And where is Westminster getting a lot of money from? Is it getting money from what happens in England?
No, because their tax takes shrinking down that road.
Yeah, so it's the oil and gas sector and
energy sector, bank sector,
right? Where they're making the money in corporation tax, and that's the point. That's the whole point of it. See this independence kick that we're doing. We're going to have to push really hard. And David and I have both looked at this thing of where they're going to take the ballot boxes and they're going to go to Woolworths and buy the most expensive padlock they've got and lock it up and hand one spare key to, oh, who do we hand the spare key to? Oh, MI5, you take a key. MI5 go, brilliant, we'll be in there all night long, and it gives us all night long to blow and frig about with the Scottish election. You'll find that Labour won hands down.
Aye.
So,
but as I say, this carry on with the contracting economy down that road. It's starting to be a drag on all the regions of England as they try to support London and its ever shrinking banking sector, a legal sector, and advertising sectors. They're all shrinking. They're all leaving.
Yeah.
The marketplace isn't big enough anymore.
Yeah.
So they've got to relocate to places where the marketplace is big enough. And rather than keep those big expensive properties in Canary Wharf, they're building in Glasgow. They're buying up in Edinburgh and just moving. And there's another reason for that, because there's going to be a brain drain. And that means they're going to need well-educated workforce. Well, and where in the UK are you getting that well-educated workforce at this point in time? Scotland, because we don't charge for university tuition fees.
That's right. But the properties you're talking about in Glasgow, you look at those properties as they were prior to COVID. They were call centres.
Aye.
No longer call centres now. So those are going to get
converted.
Yeah, they're going to get converted back into really, really swanky flats and all the rest of it, right? Aye. And the people that will buy these flats or rent them or whatever, they'll be paying London rates for it.
Well, as I say, one thing's for sure, the ones that don't get turned into flats are getting turned into banks at this point in time, David, you know?
Yeah.
But what's happening in the City of London, yes, the advertising sector, the legal sectors, the banking sector, they're all fleeing. Investors are moving their money into Europe where they can speculate with it.
And don't forget, we've still got insurance companies like Scottish Widows and all the rest of them. Massive. Absolutely, utterly massive, right?
Aberdeen Asset Management, as you know, David, and Scottish Widows really recently did a merger to become the third biggest asset management. Well,
yeah, but don't forget, these are the companies that said, oh, if you go independent, we're going to move our brass plate down to London.
They can go. They'll not last long there. When you've only got the UK market as an insurance company to sell to, life's a bitch.
Yeah.
That's why you'll find that Aberdeen Asset Management and Scottish Widows will have a European headquarters, a North American headquarters. In fact, I believe that a Ginger's works for a European insurance company earlier that's providing health insurance earlier.
I'm just getting from
I think it is she works for.
Adam director behind me is just telling me that they're part of the Lloyds Banking Group.
Aye.
Yeah. Yeah, Halifax and all the rest of it. Bank of Scotland, yeah.
So, you know, the asset management companies are that fucking big. They've got headquarters everywhere. They've got brass plates everywhere.
Yeah. But the important thing is it's where they pay their corporation tax. If we become independent, it has to be that we cannot have a situation whereby these people go, oh, we've got a brass plate in London, so we're not going to pay any corporation tax to Scotland, to the Scottish Treasury, because of X, Y, Z. And I can see a bit of legislation coming out that's saying, no, if you want to go to have your brass plate in London, you want to pay your corporation tax there, move to London.
Aye.
And they'll go, maybe not.
Aye. But we're going to spend a couple of minutes having a laugh at Trump.
Right, okay.
Epstein stands out from the grave even after Halloween, grabbed Trump by his apparently really small cojones. And there's been some really nice emails released into the public between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, which explains to us quite clearly that Donnie knew about Jeffrey's little enterprise and that Donnie spent time at Jeffrey's house with one of these girls. Hours, actually, it says in the email.
Yeah.
And numerous occasions, apparently.
A small wonder why he doesn't want to release the Epstein papers, isn't it? By the time it gets released, he'll have done everything he possibly can to redact everything that's in there, or burnt it, or get the Ku Klux Klan to bloom and nail it to a cross, or whatever, right? Seriously. At the end of the day, it's like he is scared shitless about the Epstein papers. It's like that.
Aye.
You know?
That's the one, Gingers. It's Sun Life you work for, that's right. Aye. European.
If you look at Maxwell, if you remember, Maxwell was Ghislaine Maxwell's father. And he's
Maxwell. The press billionaire that fell out off the side of his boat.
Fell off the side of his boat, and it ended up where somebody actually pushed him under.
Aye.
So the
idea was paid off for the company pension pot.
And then you look at that and you go. Also, the fact that Maxwell was involved heavily with the Israeli government at the time. So without going down the rabbit hole, you've got a lot of real information there. Reference.
He might not want to release it.
He was part of the thing. He was part of the Mossad setup, right? And therefore, you can see that what might come. Some of these stories that are coming, where Ghislaine could be a Mossad agent. Epstein could have been a Mossad agent. How positively powerful that is. You want to control the world. It's simple. Control all the politicians.
Very importantly, control the billionaires who own the politicians.
Correct. And then straight away you lift the situation.
I'm afraid that's a wee bit too far down the rabbit
hole. Then eventually one day somebody is voted in as the mayor of New York who isn't under the control of Mossad.
Sorry, mate, that's one deep state too far for me. If you don't mind, I'm going to stick to realpolitik in real time.
Well, what I would do, when you talk about realpolitik, you mean if it turns up in the Herald, it's okay?
No, David. I mean, I'm going to stick to it, the reality of today, know the possibility of tomorrow, what will be discovered tomorrow.
At the moment, it's not being discovered tomorrow. It's already been discovered.
I have never heard anybody say that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent.
Yeah, quite a lot.
No, I haven't. I haven't heard anybody suggest that Maxwell was a Mossad
agent. Look at America now, and it's like the majority of the American politicians are bankrolled by the AIPAC.
Oh no, there's a sweep we've got today, David. Right, folks, here's a sweep we've got today, or here's a bet we've got to have. Between us, just as a joke, who'll go first, Starmer or Trump? Get your bets. Starmer. I agree. Yeah. I agree. Right, but David.
Trump will be there until eventually the people of America wake up.
Aye.
It's always that. And by the time the people of America wake up, Trump will have gerrymandered a way whereby he can actually say, well, there's not going to be an election.
And apparently Epstein.
Because we're at war with such and such. Iraq. There we are. They'll go at Iraq. They'll say, oh, we're fighting Iraq at the moment. There can't be.
That one must be for you, David.
Aye. Thanks, Chris.
Aye, you and him have been doing the same rabbit holes.
No, it's not a case of being down a rabbit hole.
I'm always joking.
It's not that you're insulting us by saying we're conspiracy theories. We're not. We're
no, David.
We're simply replaying.
It's just no a field
read a lot of, right?
It's just no something I've been paying attention to. I'm paying mainly attention to economics at the moment.
John, seriously, I was being said, adopt me, please. I'll send you the paperwork.
That wouldn't be a bad shout, John, if he was to put his hat in the ring for the Democrat Party leader.
Yeah.
And take a crack at going for the president. That would really drive Netanyahu and Israel off the edge of the cliff, wouldn't it? A Muslim president.
Well, AIPAC would send AIPAC off the edge of a cliff.
Aye. Right, anyway, 1700 hours, dear boy. Time to put an end to this.
Oh.
Folks, I'll get another live going tonight with Reagan Elite over on Reagan Elite's channel at 8 p.m. Alistair, before I shut things off, can you drop a link to the round table tonight in the chat, please, in case anybody here of the 160 odd that's watching, was watching, they want to join us there for tonight for a chat between me, Reagan Elite, and Daily Blase. Obviously, I don't know what the subjects are going to be that we're going to speak about because it's Reagan Elite's programme and he'll set the agenda.
Well, I'll give you a subject to actually discuss and see if they can handle it. Do you think Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were part of Mossad?
I don't think it's going to come up. Otherwise, if the Epstein carry on with Trump comes up, maybe I'll throw it on the table. Okay.
When you do that, when you actually work that out, everything then slots into place. You go, that's why.
Well, it's a light bulb moment I've not had yet. I guess I better put my economics to one side for a bit and go and have a look at Israel's reach in America.
We're going to call it, instead of Mossad, honey traps are us.
Honey traps are us. Yeah, fair dues. Right, guys. Thanks very much for
you do, guys, is through the letterbox comes a flight, an actual airline ticket, and you go, oh, it's the airline ticket to Jerusalem. All expenses paid, all food, all drink, and you will have full accommodation, right? And it's like you get there and they actually pair you up with this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful female, right? At the end of the day, it's like they're in there taking photographs left, right, and centre. You're hooked. You're done. And I tell you what, seriously, it's not the question for a Hollywood movie. It is actual fact.
So say I don't know anything about the situation with AIPAC and who's a Mossad agent and who's not.
Honey traps do happen. All right.
I never said they don't. I said I just don't know nothing about it.
No,
David.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling the viewer. Honey traps.
As I say, I don't know about Israel's reach in America.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to realise how big their reach is here.
Yeah.
But
you look at it. Lamy, Starmer, all the rest of them, right? It's like
that sort of thing brings it to the fore. But
they are nailed to the ground by Israel.
That's very true. We know that the Israel lobby have more or less bolted the front bench of the Labour Party, but we'll end it there. Okay.
Right. Don't be scared. See what you mean. Seriously.
Oh, David, as I say, it's not something I'm aware of, so you don't need
Maxwell receive a state funeral on the Stormont of Olives. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, Charles. Maxwell did receive a state funeral on the Mount of Olives. There you go.
Well, as I say, I can't say I was paying too much attention to Israel's reach into America, and
well, no, we're talking about Maxwell here, who is the British, right? And at the end of the day, it's like he received a state funeral, which is something that Israel would give to one of their top soldiers or whatever, right? In the Mount of Olives. And so, therefore, what did he do for that? Did he roll about with a gun? Did he actually have a tank battalion?
I don't know what he did. Apart from running a media empire that collapsed while the sun set off into this.
Light bulb moments take a wee bit to come, but they will come with you, David.
It's not, David, it's not an area of study I would go into.
I think you should, because it answers an awful lot of unanswered questions.
I tend to get my unanswered questions answered through history, with my studies of history or my studies of economics and things like that. But I'll have a look at Israel's influence in America. I'm not sure about the rest of the stuff. I wasn't aware of it.
Well,
there's an
actual book about AIPAC, and I would read that. That's worth a read, right? Anyway,
right,
guys. The most important thing is we believe in Scotland. At the end of the day, my saying is time for independence, 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 as they say in Scotland. And his saying is, keep your eyes on the prize. I'll say it for him. Right, there you go.
No need to, because I'm about to thank people before we exit the door. Can we say thank you for your super chats?
We thank everyone here. And some of the donations are amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Even this morning, Andy Truck Davy, it's like, oh my God, man, it really was. So,
wasn't the one pot, David.
Guys, we might be the ones in front of the cameras, but
use our stars. Yeah. Aye, and talk about stars. Andy, chuck it.
Another one. Bloody
hell. That's about 70 quid he's good as the day. Just slow your horses, Andy. And I'll speak to you tonight in the after show a programme at 10 o'clock. Thanks very much, Andy. You're a star. You've all been wonderful today, folks. You're always wonderful. You're a great community.
Can I have a final shout out for a friend of mine?
Aye.
A friend of mine called Faye Carruthers, who used to be the poster girl for transplants in Scotland, right? Redheaded, you've maybe seen the poster, right? She's going off in about a week's time to Ghana as a charity nurse, and she's going to live. She's the least religious person you could ever meet, and she is going to live in a convent for 6 months, performing as a charity nurse.
That's gone above and beyond.
I wish her all the very best and all the rest. As I'm sure anybody that knew her would say that. I just had to get that in.
Okay, aye, no, any bother. That's gone above and beyond the call of duty. If you're not religious, to plant yourself in a bloody convent in Guyana for 6 months to help people.
Ghana.
Okay, right. Say thanks, everyone. Time to go. I've only got a couple of hours before my next live, and I want to get fed.
There's a Tallyman coming, I think. Ooh, ice cream.
Get me a pokey hat.
A pokey hat, that's right.
Right, bye now, folks.
Right.